Hello! You are watching the Hustle and Know Entrepreneurial Experience. We are an entrepreneurship book club moving into the podcast world. Each month, we read a few books relating to entrepreneurship and professional development and then share it with you guys. So, joining us today, we have Joseph Warren, co-owner of Financial Planning HQ. We got Shawn, Townley, entrepreneur, consultant, speaker, and geek. And then we got myself. I'm going to be your host today, Julie. Just got passion for knowledge. Want to share it with you guys. So without further ado, let's get started. So today, and Joseph, if you want to pop up the book and show everybody, we're going to read Fix This Next, Make the Vital Change That Will Level Up Your Business by Mike Michalowicz. So let's get started. Awesome. Okay, team. In one word or sentence, give me your synopsis of the book. If you were the author, what is the main point you want the reader to take away from this book? So I'm going to put Shawn on the hot seat right now.
Know thyself, where you are. Quit going after everything all at once, you silly entrepreneur. Why do you just keep going, burn yourself out, going 100 miles an hour, and then you wonder, when's it going to all end? What should I be working on? This book's for you.
Ooh, that was very strong and powerful, Shawn. And short and sweet. I'm going to piggyback off of that and say, yes, as Shawn was mentioning, this book, there's apparently 5 different levels, like a little pyramid. And I actually have a little image that I'm going to show you. This is a one-pager that you can print on the website. I think it's called like fixthisnext.com. I'll make sure to include it.
You could have checked out.
Is it backwards because it's a computer?
I don't know. It's fine.
No, it's good.
Okay. So the point is like a traditional like food pyramid. You know, you start from the bottom up. So that is going to be sales, then profit, then order, then impact, then legacy. So basically what that means is that you can't go to the next level until you fix the level in the bottom. So he basically gets you to evaluate your whole company, what you think you're doing good at, what you think you're not doing great at, what you should improve on. And he gives like a complete, like, you know, pages that you can work with to evaluate yourself. And then whatever the lowest bottom is, that's what you need to fix first. Fix this next, hence the title. Then once you fix that, then you can go to the rest and go to the rest. So essentially, because a lot of times as entrepreneurs and businesses, and even if you're just working inside a company, you know, there's so many little things and fires you got to put out. Okay, well, just hone it in and be like, what do I got to fix next? Like, that'll help you figure out what to fix. So it's a little synopsis for you. Okay, Joseph, what do you think?
What's the first rule of Fight Club?
Don't talk about Fight Club.
What's the first rule of book club?
That's not true. We talk about books.
No, read the book. I didn't finish reading the book. I apologize. And I did the same thing apparently last October. So there's something about October where I just don't finish reading my book. I think that's a little bit crazy.
Is it pumpkin spice beer, perhaps?
It could be. Pumpkin beer or pumpkin bread or lattes. But what I did read, I read the first few chapters, and if I had to choose one word based on what I read, it's all about, there's something called self-awareness where you kind of take a look at yourself and see like, what can I improve? I would say this is about business awareness. And they kind of make the analogy a lot of like how a business is a lot like a person. They're all the same. They need the same things. Just like a person needs food, water, sleep, a business needs sales, you know, just like it needs. At the top, you have self-actualization where you're helping other people. A business needs a legacy and a purpose and something it's working towards. So I would say it's just all about awareness, like not just trying to do everything all at once and solve every single problem at once, like Shawn was saying and Julie was saying, but really finding like this is the most important thing, starting with the foundation. First, you have to take care of, just like in life, you got to take care of yourself first. And then once you take care of yourself and you're golden, you're good, then you start helping other people, you know, you start mentoring people, doing things like that. But you got to get, like it says here, before you can give.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Thank you for that awesome insight, Joseph. Okay, then, moving on. Let's get to the juicy stuff, right? Tell us what you liked best about the book and what you disliked about the book. Okay, let's have Shawn go first again, since Joseph's a slacker down here. No, I'm just kidding.
Just like with your personal finances, when you're running a business and you start making profits, pay yourself first. I can't stress how important this is. So many people keep throwing their money back in and working their ass off and working their ass off. This guy definitely subscribes more to the Tim Ferriss school than the Vanderchuck. I mean, because he's like, no, you got to pull some of that stuff out and live. Figure out what it takes to live. What is enough? There's some even Vicki Robbins, where it's like, figure out what it is that makes you happy. Don't be a bazillionaire. You should be as millionaire as you need to sustain your life. And I think that's spot on. You know what? If your company only makes $1 million a year, but you're a happy camper, don't sweat it. You don't have to be, a decamillionaire if a millionaire is all you need to be happy.
Mm-hmm. And that's also another concept that we've heard before in Rework, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which I know you loved.
My favorite book of the year by far. So, keep it simple, solve your own problems, know what enough is, and don't try to please everyone. I think that's a great summation.
Nice. Okay, is there anything you disliked about the book, Shawn?
The book was yellow. I mean, I'm not a big fan of yellow.
If I hadn't heard petty before, no, just kidding.
Wow. No. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'm in a picking on mood today.
Only because I read the book, Joseph. Here's the deal. When authors read their own books and they read the sides, it's really kind of distracting, because he reads the book strong, but when he does his little side notes, it gets really soft. It's really freaking annoying. I didn't like that.
Okay. I also listened to it, Shawn, and yeah, I do remember that. I thought it was awesome, though, because he added, extra notes. But it was interesting. It was a change of pace, because as he's reading the book, you're like, wow, this guy is so energetic and so awesome, and then, all of a sudden, he'll, be really soft in his tone, add little side notes. So, didn't really go together. But, I mean, I wouldn't really say that's a dislike for me. But, okay, Shawn, I mean, your opinion is valid.
I finished the book, not like some people.
You know what, Shawn? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, is there anything, Joseph, out of what you did read that you really liked? And or disliked?
Is there anything
I thought it was good. I'll laugh at that.
Sorry, we're picking on you today.
No, I deserve it. The first rule of the book club is that you read the book, and I didn't read the book, so.
You read the damn book.
Read the book. So everything makes sense. What I do like is basically how he compares a business to a person and how they're all the same. We all want to think we're beautiful little snowflakes, little unicorns, but we're really 99.9% similar in our DNA to others. So we need the same stuff. You're not special that you don't need food, that you don't need a purpose in life, things like that. So I like it. I think I agree with the premise of it, and I was very intrigued to read more. I will read the book next time. I promise this. That can be my challenge for myself for next week, is to read the book.
Good.
And there was actually something I didn't like, which I feel bad saying it after reading just a few chapters, but I didn't like I think his sense of humor was a lot of making fun of other people, but when he would talk about his own problems, it was deadly serious. So I think you have to have some self-deprecating, because I remember he was talking about a lady who was lost in GPS. She didn't have her GPS on her phone. He was like, oh, making fun of her, making fun of crusty old men with their stale breath. But when he would talk about himself, it was there's nothing to make fun of here with me. And just personally, I don't like that type of personality. So, shots fired.
Okay. I can see that a little bit. But I think he was a little down on himself too. I think he was self-critical.
And it may be more so towards the end of the book, the part I didn't read.
Maybe. Shawn's loving this. Okay. Well, I appreciate your insight, Joseph. Okay, so something that I really liked about this book, I mean, there's like a lot of good pointers in here. I felt something that I did really like is he, I guess, said, so a lot of people think that they're like hot shit, like a lot of companies, because they like add money back into their business. They're like, every profit that I make, I reinvest right back in the business to make it better. You know, like that's how people say it too. So I really like that he's like, well, technically reinvesting money into your business is not profit. It means that it never was profit. Like, how is that profit? Like profit, like it's only profit if it like stays in the bank or you give it to shareholders. Like profit is money that you made from the business that you get to keep for yourself. Like, so if you put it back in, like, if you put it back in the business, that means you're using it now to pay other bills. So essentially, you didn't make a profit. You know what I mean?
That's a great point, Julia. He did talk about, even as being an owner, even if you're a sole proprietor, you're a stockholder, right? You own stock in the business, and you should always take it out first. That was part of that pay yourself first kind of mentality, right? And to your point, if you just keep shoveling things back in and waiting for some other day to come along, then yeah, you didn't recognize it. You didn't pay those dividends, so to speak, as someone who just owns a business. And he did make a good point about being a business owner and not being so caught up in your business to where it can't run without you. I think that was very Tim Ferriss of him. That's what I did like about this book. It's like, get in there, figure it out, set up the systems, and get the hell out. I like that.
Thank you, Shawn. And I will mention that point as well. So going back real quick to the whole profit thing, he also says, like how kind of Joseph was saying, you know, companies, like they're the same fundamentals, just like humans are the same fundamentals. So, you know, like when you're a financial planner, you know, your advice is you should save 10% of everything that you make. So you should do the same for your business. Like everything that that comes in, you should save 10% of all your income, and then have that as like, you know, either a cushion or pay yourself or something, because, you know, otherwise you gotta pay yourself first, you know, that logic, you know. So there was that. And then going back to Shawn, what he was saying about, I'm sorry, I just blanked out. Shawn, what were you saying? You said about, Tim Ferriss 4-hour work week type of deal. Oh yeah, okay. So make it run without you, because there's a really great quote about this. Oh yeah, you are not a business owner if the business owns you. So his thing is like, take like 4 weeks off, like a couple times a year, maybe 4 times a year. Just take a month off. And don't do anything. Don't answer the phone if they have any questions for you, because there should not be any person in there that's so indispensable that if they leave or something happens or if they get sick or go on vacation, you can't function without them. That is not a functioning organization. So, and he had to learn that the hard way with his business. So it's, you know, if you're working in your business, you know, you want to make sure that it works without you. Otherwise it's not really functioning at all.
Well, and not just you, but even your key personnel, right? So he had the lady who was his right hand, a linchpin, I think is what he called it. Mm-hmm. And you got to get rid of those folks. It just doesn't work if that one person is everything to your business, whether it's you or someone else. So no, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Does he say? Go ahead.
So no, you go ahead.
Does he say work on your business, not work in your business? That seems to be a lot of the philosophy, is like, don't let the business own you. You want a sustainable one where you're actually working from a higher level on your business versus in just being like another person who's grinding, putting out fires.
I think he doesn't say it like verbatim like that, but that's essentially the concept that he means, which is the whole point of the hierarchy. When you're working on your business, you're looking at everything as a whole, and then you can figure out the needs for it. Because if you're too busy doing like marketing or whatever in it, you can't work on it overall. So So yes, essentially. Okay, so I don't think there was really anything that I disliked. If there is, I'll think of it and we'll come back to it. How about that, guys? Okay, so last question here. What is something that you learned from the book that you didn't know before? And give me an example of how you're going to apply it to your life. Joseph?
Put me on the hot seat. I'm ready.
Yeah.
There's two things that really stuck with me out of the portion of the book that I read. And I think the main thing is like profit first. I think it's that whole idea of what you guys were saying. And that's mentioned early in the book. And he even wrote a whole book on it. And I kind of like that. It relates to people, like you pay yourself first with 10 to 30% of your income. You keep that for yourself. Same with the business. It's not sustainable if you're just throwing it back in the business, because then it almost becomes like an addiction. It's like you're addicted to needing that money to run the business, to pay debts, and that's your new normal. Where everyone's always talking about the new normal, that becomes like what you're used to. But if you force yourself to take some and enjoy it and keep that money for yourself, it's healthier for your own life, right? Your own human needs, but it's also healthy for the business because the business learns to run off of less. And same as a person, like if you keep money for yourself and you save it and invest it, it's healthier for you because then you learn to live off of less, but you're also taking care of your future. So I just think it's all about how to run a sustainable business and not like a business that's going to run you to the ground. That's what it sounds like to me. And I really like it. I can't wait to finish the book. I will finish it. And I apologize to both Shawn and Julie, my good friends, for not finishing it.
That's okay, Joseph. So, are you going to maybe like start implementing that in your business? I know you have to talk to your business partners, of course, but the whole, like, you're going to evaluate. Are you going to do the whole chart? You're going to evaluate your business? I'm
going to evaluate my business. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to read the book. So 2 things. I'll read the book and I'll evaluate the business using the tools he has online.
Mm-hmm. That is an acceptable answer. Thank you, Joseph. Just kidding. Okay, Shawn, how about you?
Oh, hilarious. My confessional, I'll read the book by the confessional. Paying yourself first, that's huge. I think saving is addictive to the point where it's detrimental. One of the concepts I talk about in a new series I'm doing called, just basic money, is talking about having mad money. And that is money that you can spend guilt-free on whatever your pleasure is, and do it guilt-free. I mean, you have to have those guilt-free pleasures because we have to live. What good is it to be a decamillionaire if you eat out of a paper sack every day, you have no friends, and nobody likes you? You got to have those enjoyable moments where you have pizza and a drink on your back patio with some friends, being socially distant, of course. It's the little things in life, and that's where enough truly for me is it's that penultimate place you want to be. If I know what enough is and I don't try to struggle for more, then I can enjoy it. I can put enough back in the business and just let it be, and then walk away. Don't kill yourself trying to do this stuff. But people that want to get out of debt and they throw everything at it, and then they're miserable because they're eating macaroni and cheese and ramen noodles all the time, you explode at some point. So don't do that. Pay yourself first. Make it like a bill, but it's a bill you pay first before everything else comes off. And then this goes back to the richest man in Babylon. Pay yourself first. Good things happen. I mean, how can you argue with 1,500 years worth of wisdom?
Good point. I think an interesting thing also is he says you can make your salary in your business. You can account for that, your salary, and then deduct it by however much you need to live or increase it, whatever. And then your profit's separate. So that would be what I would consider your mad money, Shawn. Any money that you make that you can spend freely, that's your profit.
But profit comes first, just like savings. Don't do it the opposite way. Don't
right.
And then if there's nothing left, screw that. I do like that, best thing in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe save 10% of all the profit you make, and then the rest is your mad money. I should have clarified that. Which I said earlier for the record. Just kidding. Okay. So how are you going to apply that, Shawn?
Well, in my business, right now, I'm going to do that. I mean, for every $100 I make, I'm going to take $10 out and squirrel it away. Do something fun with it. I'm not going to put it back in the business, which is weird for an entrepreneur. It's not. It doesn't feel like the natural thing to do, but I think it's the right thing to do. I mean, if you're doing it for your personal life, I mean, money doesn't care. Money doesn't know. It doesn't have thoughts and that kind of stuff. So, well, give it a shot.
Why not? Yay.
Do it.
Awesome. Okay. For me, let's see. A lot of these concepts, I think, are, if you own your own business. I'm in the process. I'm not there yet. So, which, I mean, like Gary Vee says, it'd be cool if I could, document all that. But for now, a lot of the stuff, though, I think you can still apply as you're working in an organization. As I was reading this book, I was like, wow, there's so many things that we should be doing that I'm definitely going to bring up. And even then, I'm going to be I'm going to email the execs and be like, hey, y'all should check out this book. For the record. Which I seriously am going to do, by the way. But something that I think I really want to do, and I'll try to figure out how to implement it. I don't know if y'all have heard of OKRs or MOKR or MOKRs. So MOKR, it's kind of like KPIs. You know what I mean? Like checking your results.
Key performance indicator. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So for him, OKRs is so technically it's MOKR or OKR. So MOKR is mission, objective, key results. Or you can take off the M and just do objective, key results. So he has his own little thing, which was cool because after each example, he gave a complete example of how to implement that. What he calls OMEN. Which is objective, measurement, evaluation, nurture. So that I thought was a really cool thing that you can apply. So in the book, he gives all these different needs that you need for each level. And then he'll give an example, a little story on how to use what it's called OMEN. So what's the objective? What is the result you intend to achieve? Measurement, what's the most straightforward way to measure your progress towards the outcome? Evaluation, with what frequency you'll analyze your measurements. And nurture, if necessary, how will you tweak the objective and or measurements? So I think this is a really great action item that you could use whenever you pick any kind of project or assignment for yourself. So I'm going to start doing that. And I know I've given MOKRs to you guys before, Shawn. I remember when you were doing your mastermind, I printed it out. So this could be used even with any basic goals in your life. So I'm going to definitely do that. And yeah, I guess that's it. There is one other thing I want to say, but it's not really an action item. I just want to add another fun fact for you guys that I learned in the book. Okay, I'll say it. So in the book, he says, another thing that I liked, always gather people who are closest to the problem and get their ideas for solutions. So he uses the example of Ole Miss. So that university, and essentially they were having an application problem. They were not having a lot of people sign up to their campus and apply to go to school there. And they were thinking why is that? So they did a little research and they found out that a lot of people decide where they're going to apply to school based on the first time they go visit the campus. So basically how beautiful the campus is. So he goes, and they figured out that one of the problems they were facing with their campus layout and the landscaping was that it took 10 days to mow the grass.
That is just ridiculous amount of time. So
the point is that you go to the closest person to the problem to find the solution. So what they did is they talked to the lawnskeepers and they said, like, how can we improve this? And they said, well, the main issue when we're mowing the lawns is that the tree stems are too low. So let's cut off the top of the stems, like the trees. That way, every time we're mowing, we don't have to like stop, get out, go around the tree, all that jazz, because that's what's making everything take so long. So instead, that was one of the things that they changed. And they also changed, like they had trash cans on the lawns for some reason. So instead they moved it to the pavement. And because they were able now to have more time, because it didn't take them 10 days to mow the grass, they also were able to apply that extra time on additional projects to make the landscaping more beautiful. And then eventually now apparently they have one of the most beautiful campuses.
Wow.
Apparently, I've never been. So,
Road
sorry? Road trip. So the point is that they didn't talk to the executives. How are we going to, of course it is technically a sales problem. They're not getting applications, but they figured out the root of the problem was the scenery. And they didn't ask the executives, how are we going to fix the lawn? Like, you know, they talked to the lawnskeepers. It just makes sense. So, essentially, that's one thing. And then they also were able to kill two birds with one stone. They were able to, I mean, the expression, not literally. They were able to fix the campus, make it nicer, and they were able to get more applications all within one problem. Wow. So that's one thing that I really liked. And it's funny because I was just talking to my teammates today, and that was one of the things that they were saying is that one of the things we do is like we host websites. And apparently we have it on like several different servers. Some people have older websites, and they're thinking of maybe hiring another company to have the websites hosted there. And they're like, why do we need to hire another one? So let's talk to the actual developers themselves who are working on the sites and get their input, because it is coming from an executive that we should hire this other company. So it's like, you don't really have all the insights. Appreciate your concern, but let's talk to the people who actually know what's going on. I'm sassy today.
You are sassy today.
Okay. So anyways, definitely liked that. And when I have an organization, I'm definitely going to listen to the bottom peeps, which is probably going to be me mainly for a while. Okay. Anything else last minute we would like to share?
Choose which problems to solve wisely. That's what I took away from our discussion.
Nice. There were other things in this book that I didn't get to mention. I think just to wrap it up, if you fail to change, you will fail. You know, times change. You got to change as your organization changes. Nothing should be set in stone. And also, you know, of course, the top of the part of the chain is to leave a legacy behind. That's what you want to do. But don't start with that. You know, fix the fundamentals, fix your processes, get everything in order, because if that's not going to work and you leave, then what legacy are you leaving? You're not going to leave one. So fix the business the way you want it to be fixed. And that's all. I was trying to throw the papers in the air. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching the Hustle and Know Entrepreneurial Experience. You can find more about the author and the book in the description. And don't forget, hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle. Bye. See ya.